Hey, what's up, guys? I just wanted to address that post last night that I made on Instagram. Look, I'm a really nice person. It takes a whole lot to push my buttons, and sometimes people just continually keep doing that. And I normally don't react because, reaction is what they want. However, really, honestly, it was just such a stupid thing. It was like I had just said something about it. You can tell that they don't follow me, or they just make up things thinking that somebody else isn't following me. So why not just keep making things up? How does she look? How does she act? What does she say? What if this happened? Some people just live for gossip, and it's kind of stupid if I'm up here every week on Instagram and people are just still pretending that I look a certain way or don't look a certain way. I mean, I do change my looks from time to time because I get bored with the same thing. Natural hair is wonderful. It's lovely. But sometimes you get tired of it. You put braids in it. You put, wigs on. You do this, you do that. So I might look different as far as my hair goes. But pretty much I've been looking the same for a few years now. So it would not take a genius to say, this is how she looks. My face is everywhere, right? But still, I think people persist. And then they pretend as if I'm insecure or something. What irritates me, though, is when other people are buying it. And then they come in, I don't know, I just want to say, irritate me, right? Don't internalize things. It's just somebody who's jealous. I don't know what that is. It's not the end of the world. So that's the first thing. The second thing, irritate me. The second thing, I see it's a lovely day out here today. It's pouring down rain, so good day to make a video. But bad, fourth holiday for you guys who are going out to celebrate. Whatever. So number two, as far as just getting on my nerves, there's a lot to this. There's a lot of layers, right? Like if you really believe that at my age I'm renting because I want to, because I haven't had to move because of constant harassment, then you're dreaming. I had a home. I had to leave that home because harassment was so bad from police that I had to leave. They know I'm an activist, and this is one of those situations where people know who you are, and when they try to pretend that you're not, they're doing it for a reason, because they're trying to get away with something. And I mean, just my head hurts. On top of that, I have a nerve to have a degree in psychology, so it's irritating. It's just patience. But when they physically come at you and there's nothing you can do, and they use passive aggressive means, and I'm not saying the takeover of this apartment building or complex was associated, but the last owners were pretty racist. If they got run out of business, they got fined, I wouldn't be surprised if they went to jail, because it's a nice complex, but they don't run it like they should because it's North Carolina and they can get away with what they want. And I'm shocked. I mean, I've actually reported civil rights violations since I've been there in writing. That's how bad it is. And I honestly think they do it just to see if they can get away with it. And I thought that the white woman was just pretty much showing off, because 85% of the people there are African American, right? So why not see what she could get away with? And I really just tolerated it because I was like, okay, maybe people here are just not, North Carolina has got some issues. They've had issues for years and years. And I mean, again, having a degree in psychology, I try to understand, but it's still just like some days, no matter where I am, I can't deal with it. So when they decided just to, okay, your lease is up, time to renew. I've been here for 5 or 6 years. And they're like, okay, we're going to up it $300 or $400 extra, which is what I said on my last video, in addition to what I'm already paying. I'm thinking $300 or $400 extra for North Carolina. The prices are going up everywhere, but it's kind of like that's to the extreme. And the choices that she gave me were not good. Meaning I'd have to pay a heck of a lot more, and I could get a very nice house for that. And at this point, I think I'm going to try to get something obviously better. The only reason I stayed here was because of the pricing, which people from Virginia already know. You already know. Ain't nobody moving to North Carolina because they want to. Atlanta maybe sometimes, but even Atlanta now, you ducking bullets. Keep this real. A lot of times Atlanta's a lot cheaper, but what are you willing to put up with? Georgia in general is cheaper. These people are backwards. They really are. I'm not gonna lie. They're way behind. I'd kill for Whole Foods, and I'm not at all gentrified, but you know, it is what it is. So I don't know. As far as, you know, progress, they need to make a lot more. I mean, they do have a few Whole Foods, but not very many. It's not like Amenityville, if you know what I mean. Especially if you have children. If you have children, it's even worse. You know, they don't have activities for children. They don't really get the whole activity thing. They try, but it looks really awkward and really weird. And I'm just like, you know, that's just the way they've survived. You know, they're awkward. And you can go to certain areas. You can go like to Charlotte. You can go, you know, to different areas and find an IKEA and find the things that you need. But go to a concert or something. But it's like, you know, I've been all over North Carolina, and it's really not anything to be fussing about. And a lot of people haven't left here, so they really don't know what the rest of everything's about in this country. They really don't get it. So I just, you know, I just chalk it up to that. Like, if they don't get it, they don't get it, you know. But cheap and, you know, being, you know, pushed into a situation where it looks like it's really, honestly, probably more than likely a lot of discrimination, and they pass it over to some firm in New York or company or whatever, corporation, whatever you want to call it. It looks like an LLC, who, you know, again, I've lived in Virginia for a very long time before I moved to several different areas, and every state I've moved to, nothing has been as bad as North Carolina. The rental laws are awful. They don't favor the tenant at all, and New York is worse. New York is very similar, which is why I think that it happened that way specifically with New York, because their rental laws are also awful. You have to pay by the 4th. There's no 30-day grace period. There's no, you know, grace period really, period. And they're very nasty. These people here don't do anything. They haven't cleaned the pool. I'm like, it's been broken forever. I complain, and they just flat out ignored me. Now, don't get me wrong, like I'm spoiled, I have to have a pool, but most apartment complexes within reasonable, you know, reasonable means do. It's not an indoor pool. It's not lavish with a number of amenities, which I've seen, and I've lived in, you know, spaces like that. But it's not even, you know, it's just casual, and it's still just, as far as I'm concerned, it's trifling. You know, you got to, you know, pick. When I got here, to get somebody to pick up the trash, we had to, you know, email, and they finally got that straight, but it's still not all that neat. There's nobody in the office, which creeps me out. There hasn't been since I've been here. They'll come to pick up the rent, and they'll leave. And the only people you'll see are the maintenance folks. Where I've never seen anything, and I've rented in a number of spaces. California, Florida, you know, Maryland. I've never seen this. When I was at Howard, I used to commute to DC, and I lived in Maryland. I mean, and you know, the craziness there with that harassment was when a neighbor moved across the street, he started parking in front of my house and harassing me, him and his overweight wife and stuff, you know. It was crazy. Whenever they find out where I'm at, that's when the target harassment starts. You know, at Howard, I had to leave because I'm like, it wasn't safe. When I walked to the store and I walked back, somebody was literally following me. And I remember turning around on this jerk, and he, you know, bolted across the street because, you know what, it's true. If you're in danger, you think somebody's following you, turn around on their asses and see what they did. Because at first, like, I had turned a corner, I said, okay, he's not going to follow me. He turned a corner too. I was like, what? So I turned around on his ass, and I was like, and he, you know, went the other way. But ladies out there, that's why I support guns for women. You know, no way. There's a lot of single women out here, and you have a right to protect yourself. Carry your mace, carry your weapons, carry whatever you need to carry, and don't even be naive about it. But back to what I was saying, yeah, it ticked me off because, you know, they didn't give me any type of reprieve or whatever. Hey, we'll drop $100 off or something. Sorry about that. We had to raise it. I mean, they were fake kind, as you want to call it, quote unquote, fake kind in their message when I finally did get someone to call me back. But this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. There's nobody in the office you can call. You get a voicemail. And then when you do talk to someone, it's about the money. It's always about the money. That's how the last people were. They don't care as long as you get them the money. And they were basically committing a civil rights violation where you had to drive to give them the money because no one was in the office. And those of you who remember, way back in the day, they used to do that to black folk to try to inconvenience you so you wouldn't be able to pay the rent if you didn't have any type of transportation. So that's when it became a civil rights violation. You know, and I'm just like, even when I first started paying rent, because I've been on my own since I was 18, and I've never seen anything this bad. And I slept on the floor when I was 18 because I was working full time. I was at home anyway, and it was just me before I had my daughter, and it still wasn't as bad. But yeah, because I remember I had gone through Century 21 then, and I mean, it was give me the money and go. The place wasn't the best, but until I got furniture and everything, and got a new place, but. No unprofessional stuff like this in Virginia or anywhere else that I've lived. I mean, North Carolina is just, the word I'm looking for is trifling. You know what I mean? Like 1970s, 1980s, trifling. And there's no other word that can describe it. So, as I said before, I was truly ticked. And it, with the eviction moratoriums or whatever ending in all these states, which I didn't even know about because I've never taken advantage of any of that. I mean, the reason why I don't is because I don't trust them. I didn't get any of the COVID money as far as business is concerned. You know why? Because I don't trust them. Anytime the government is offering you a loan and they're telling you they're not specific about the terms as far as payback, and they did come back later on and give a little bit of specificity, but it wasn't to a point where I felt comfortable, especially to minorities. You see, all these people that have gone to jail for those loans have been primarily African American people. I'm sure there are some other races in there somewhere, but you can say 95% are going to be black. That's a setup. Now, ain't nobody out here trying to get millions of dollars if you don't have millions of dollars worth of bills. But I'm saying, though, that's something you should be very careful with and very, very, aware of. That's a discrimination scheme, and you should, be cautious. Even if your business needs some money, dot your, I's and finish your P's or whatever. Make sure that everything is okay with your paperwork, because you're dealing with the IRS. You're not really dealing with the government, because technically IRS isn't government, but they will cause you a world of trouble. So that was that. But then it's just the timing of this whole thing with, we just didn't even know what happened. It was like, okay, we're the new property management, and blah, blah, blah. I got an email, and then we'll let you know. And so I'm emailing, trying to figure out what's going on, because I knew my lease was going to renew. And I finally find out, and it's like, okay, blah, here's your choices. And they literally waited until the day before the 1st. So I'm sitting here all month trying to get in contact with somebody. There's no maintenance on the property either. I'm telling you. And this is a quality property, but they don't treat it like it is. It's very strange. It is very strange. I mean, coming from where I'm coming from, I would say they were racist as hell. And I don't think at this point that I'm wrong. But the black people there seem to be obedient to a point where it's almost like an experiment. Like a psychological experiment to see if anybody will notice that this mess is weird. Like, can we get somebody out here to fix something, please? I mean, it's not run down. It's nice. It's got a bathtub, not a jacuzzi tub. They took jacuzzis out. I mean, that's why I picked it. It's got a ensuite in the master bedroom. It could be a little bigger, and it's got a nice small kitchen, but it's pretty nice. I mean, it's not at all as bad as it could be. But it would be nice if somebody did something around there besides collect money. And I think a lot of that happens in New York too. If you've ever been in New York, you'll know. And their rental laws are very similar, which other states do not allow, because again, they're civil rights violations. So anyway, I was just pissed, because I'm like, please don't go around here telling people I'm getting evicted, because I really want to leave, because I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this nonsense. For years, I'm asking people via email. I mean, on top of that, the fire department comes out periodically because this alarm keeps going off in what's called a riser room, which controls, I guess, I'm not sure what it controls, the water, or if it controls something, that's a fire hazard. It's hot, and they continue to come out, and they say they find the manager. I'm like, is this a joke? They, not the manager, but the actual owner. And we don't know who the owner is. They don't have to tell you in North Carolina. Second place I've had in North Carolina like that. They don't have to tell you who the owner is. They can hide behind the property management company so that when you sue, you don't know who you're suing. And they divide the responsibility between the two, and you don't know which has what responsibility. Oh, I'll ask the owner. That's what they'll say. It's really, really fishy, you know. And we're a lot of law-abiding people in Virginia because people get sued a lot because there's a lot of lawyers. So for me, I've never seen it because everybody's been scared of going to jail where I come from, and there'd been some that had gone to jail back in the 80s, I guess. I'm too young to remember. I was in high school, but I'm quite sure I've never seen it. So weird. So it pisses me off when I sit down here and I have to navigate my bills because I'm a human being. I'm not rich. I don't pretend to be rich. I don't pretend to be an influencer or someone who goes out here and puts up a front. We are real people. We have real lives. We have real children. We have real bills. And I want people to know, no matter how much money that you have, that type of disrespect is not, it's not normal. It's not right. It's not acceptable. It's despicable. And you're stretching your money to pay your bills. And yeah, I did buy a car last year, but I need a car. Yes, a Beamer, but I need a car. And that's what kind of car that I like, so that's what kind of car that I got. I'm not going to sit down here and be bullied to the point where I'm feeling so uncomfortable. You know, you do have a certain amount of patience. It was just ridiculous. It was like, you know, and the prices kept going up. You can pay $400 more per month. You can pay $500 a month, you know, more per month. I'm just like, if you do this, I'm just like, what? You know, and I will admit, to sign a year lease, I could have only had a $200 increase, but I don't know if I can stand it for a year. You know, it's just, and it was just like $300 for this, $400 for that. I'm like, what the, you know, what is this? This is a robbery. It's a heist. And sometimes you do things for principle, and I'm not trying to do things just for principle, but I'm doing things because I don't think it's right. Yes?
I'm fine.
Okay, just sit back in just a second, okay?
Okay.
Oh, actually, a few minutes. It's almost time for her to get out.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we all kind of work hard for what we do and for what we get. Excuse me, I should say. We all work hard for what we get. And I don't know. You know, I'm not getting rental assistance, so I can't say it's blatant discrimination. I don't know. I don't see a lot of kids out there. There's a couple kids, but it's just a weird vibe. It is weird. And I mean, for me, I'm a very kind of liberal person, so I'll get a lot of things. I'll be a very patient person, but that stuff's weird. And the harassment that I've gone through is even more weird than that. But the last place you want to be is with a bunch of weirdos. You know, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I was just fed up. I'm fed up with this crap because now I got to come out of my pocket with even more. You know how much it costs to move? And I'm just like, and it was just thrown on me. And I hate for somebody to be trying to be cute or something and trying to equate the two of the eviction. If I had gotten evicted, I wouldn't care. But it's the point of they're trying to make it seem like it's the same thing so that I'll have that supposed fear in my heart. They can have that power over me, right? It's a power differential, right? And the people that purchased this, the woman's Hispanic. And I'm just like, yeah, sounds kind of right. Goes white from white supremacy to, you know, Hispanic folk who don't really give a crap. And this woman is, you know, dismissive, just as the white woman was. Just as dismissive. I mean, the white woman won't hurt, and that was the property manager had a nice building. They had just purchased a new building. She had a Mercedes. I mean, you know, they seemed professional on the outside, which is again why I moved there. But then their behavior didn't match. You know, I don't know, their image. And if you're looking at a person, okay, and not a business, sometimes that may happen. But with a business, that's very odd. You know how people, you know, they're business like when it's time for them to get paid. But as far as anything else, they're like, child, no. You want to get this fixed? No, child. I'm sorry, but that maintenance person you know, he's off today, or he'll be right with you. Like this company now, I'm still waiting on the maintenance person. That alarm still is going off in the riser room, and he came by to fix it. Last week it's broke again. So you know it's something that's causing it. That's disturbing. Especially when you're charging over $1,000 for rent in any place. That's disturbing. It's like, what do you think we are here? Just you know, some type of money, you know, people, you just say gimme, 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 and then expect for money to fall. We got families, we got bills we have to pay. I have, you know, many bills. And you know, my student loans for these 3 degrees are killing my credit. I don't know what happened during Trump, but something happened. He put it in differently, and I can't get them to change it, and it's really like hurting my credit really badly. So you know, you get the scenario sometimes with country folk. A lot of times, sometimes it's just ignorant folk, that there's something wrong with you if you're doing everything, and you may be doing everything right, but you're just not doing as much as someone else. Or maybe you didn't have the same support systems as someone else, which happens a lot with me. It's happened throughout my lifetime, that something else is wrong with you. You were in jail, you were, you know, something's wrong, you didn't get married, something's wrong with you. And then not only that, at this point, black women are becoming targets for femicide, for sexual assault, and for all that stuff. And it's weird. I'm like, I've never seen so much male insecurity in all of my life. And I've been single for all of my life. And I've never seen this. Not this bad. It's so potent that you really can't tell the difference between white supremacy and this male insecurity. And it's sad. It's disturbing. It's frustrating. It's even more frustrating. The more you do, the less respect they want to give you. And even if they see that you're doing well, they'll pretend like, you know, they'll look the other way, or they'll make up an excuse, or they'll try to put you down, or they'll come at you and try to mess you up. Hey, yeah, doing fine. You know what? Your rent's going up. So you bought that nice car out there, but I tell you what, we're gonna change that, because we're gonna raise your rent. And now you're gonna have to sit down and get your money together, get your credit together, get up, you know, a massive amount of stuff and these kids, and go. I mean, obviously I could stay and just be blackmailed into paying more. But, I mean, either way, it's like if you want to save to move, but you're really paying that money in addition to what you could be, you know what I mean? To move, you're still giving the money away. So I don't know if it's any better. I really don't, because you're still going to end up paying more. And I would say it's a grift, but, you know, it's the average. It is. But I told you the reason why I live here. Not because it's the best place in the world. And sometimes you'll find very few people that will be honest with you. As a single parent, you will do the best for your children that you can do. And you will sometimes have to live places that aren't the best. You're not going to be in a bad neighborhood. Not, you know, if you can help it. And these days you really can't even tell what's bad. You know what I'm saying? They might shoot at you in Beverly Hills. You don't know. It has nothing to do with income. It just, you know, has something to do with intellect. You know, intellect. That's what they call it, honey. Intellect. Because they don't get it. I mean, it's really a matter of people are wilding out here. And you don't know from A to Z what's causing them to lose their darn minds. I don't know. You know, you just do the best that you can to navigate throughout the world, and sometimes you get so darn frustrated. It is so annoying to be patronized. You know, it's annoying. It's, I don't know. You got to keep on going, and you got to keep on moving. You got to keep on pressing, and you just got to keep doing what you do. And you got to know that, you know, what you're waiting for is around the corner. And if not, then you're going to be just fine. Trust me, we're going to be just fine, but it's annoying. It's like, I can't stand apathetic people, and then so much apathy that you kind of get the tinge of jealousy and racism. Like, I'm just doing this because I'll show you. We always have more money. We always have more power. And this is what I'm telling you about, because I've lived in Florida, I've lived in California, and I've said it a million times about the Hispanic Latino communities. They have more wealth than what you think. And I don't know why the numbers aren't reflecting that. It could be because the majority of them are seen as white. And that's something, baby, you can go in there with your sister. She should be off soon, and go get her if you want. Okay? That's something we need to understand. Over 80% of the Hispanic community is white. And whether you physically divide Hispanic Latino in your mind or within your ethnic groups, okay, it's a suggestion that we should have black people as being Latino only, or Latinos being blacks only, however you want to say it. But that's not the way it is in the Latin American countries, and it's not the way it is on the census. And the census is the most important thing right now. They're counting them all as Hispanic. Some are saying they're other. They might even be saying, black Hispanic. I hope they're not saying black not Hispanic, but whatever. But you get my drift. So the people that you're saying, they may identify as white. And that's going to be a significant difference in the numbers where it's not showing the wealth that they have. Some have wealth and some don't. But from what I've seen, there's a great deal that do. They're not just immigrants coming over the border doing farming jobs. And that's why I keep telling you that. When there's leverage, there's leverage. But you have to see it. You have to know it. And if you're going to run right into a brick wall and we're fighting white supremacy and then expecting these people to have your back, the majority of them are voting Republican. And they've always voted Republican. They're maybe not as identified with you as what you would like for them to be. They don't have loyalty towards you, even if they are black. So, to African American people, I'm saying to you, stop being naive. Florida's the same way. Latin America's a very big place, and they've colonized many more places other than in Latin America. So you're just like, you're the odd man out here. Especially black single women. I think at this time, especially after Roe versus Wade was overturned, I don't want to say we're screwed. There's a chance that they might be able to codify it, and let's hope that they do. That something happens under Biden. Right, besides lip service. I hope the HBCUs got their money. I don't know what happened. I hope they got their money, because they did a lot of kneeling and bowing and all kinds of stuff. I hope they got their money. I ain't saying nothing. You ain't heard it from me. I just hope they got that damn money. But as far as anything else, there's a lot of people out here still talking and vlogging about how African Americans aren't getting anything, and Hispanic people, if you're paying attention, are getting a lot of the grants for immigration. They just won a lawsuit. They got a lot of money. You just don't see it. You're not paying attention. I think that some people don't like to separate if they have people in their families that are both, and I'm not being a bigot. You can have people in families that are both. We have a lot of different races in Virginia, and we have mixed races everywhere, from Blasian to multiracial to multi-ethnic. We have nothing but that, and that's what we're used to. So when I say, knowing this and growing up the way that I did, that even having all these races, there's still an issue with colonialism and neo-colonialism possibly going on, you need to be paying attention, because it's important to you. It's important for you, and it's something that you should be paying attention to. But anyway, I'm gonna go, because I'm always doing 20 million different things. I'm just sitting up here, making plans. I hate to be rushed, and that's one thing I don't like. Like you can see, I'm just not the type of person that likes to be pushed around either. But when people have that alleged power over you, it's frustrating. It's like you're working for an employer, but you're better educated than they are, but they have more clout or more money, and you want to work for your family and you follow your career goals, but you know that, in the end, if it's not going to work, it's not going to work. And you can hustle and bustle through it, grit your teeth, and, sometimes you can just move on. So, it is what it is. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. Thanks for listening to me. And I guess I should apologize for that last night, but I'm really not sorry. Because I really honestly was expressing anger that I needed to express. Because I'm just so, I'm tired. You cannot imagine the amount of sexual harassment I've gone through, the amount of racism, the amount of intersectional discrimination. You can imagine how many times I've moved. Sometimes you just don't want to be bothered. You just want to stay still. But apparently, staying still isn't good enough for some folk because they have to harass you. And sometimes things change. That's progress. Everything's always moving. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying don't push me around like I'm here for that. And then think that I'm going to sit up here and, tear up and be upset about it, because I'm not. Because those people are those type of folk. They want you to get upset. That's what gets, them off, so to speak. They like that. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I just, it just ticks me off. It ticks me off because I swear the assumption that I'm somehow uneducated or because I'm a single parent, those type of things that, I'm a detriment to them instead of someone who's actually being a nice person and being one of the nicest people, not only in that complex, but one of the nicest people that I know. And I'm not conceited. I just am. But knowing that that's a situation and my situation that I grew up in and having to deal with what I dealt with and what I'm dealing with now, it's unfortunate. It's just a shame. You do look at your life and you're like, you're much better than that. But what actually would make you even a better person is just to let that shit go. Let it go. Because if you don't, you'll really lose your damn mind. Because they'll just keep coming up with stuff and you're just like, okay. Until you get a smile on your face and you're just like, okay. Right? Me for me.
We had to go.
Alright, somebody's ready to go. You ready to go?
Sure.
Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna go. I'm out. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.